The whispers have been circulating for months, but the truth has finally been exposed. Meghan Markle's career in shambles, and you won't believe why. In a scandalous interview, royal biographer Tom Bauer has pulled the rug out from under Meghan's carefully crafted image. And let's just say it's brutal. Picture this. While Meghan's trying to make herself the next big lifestyle guru, her husband Harry is in a courtroom, literally crying like a baby. Yeah, you heard me right. Tears in front of a judge. But it gets worse. Netflix has quietly yanked the plug on Meghan's cooking show. That's right, the one she thought would launch her as a Martha Stewart-style mogul. Gone. And Tom Bauer, in his trademark no-holds-barred style, has revealed the real reason why her show was doomed from the start.
Well, absolutely, but don't even believe that there were 5 options. What you really saw were Harry's and Meghan's fantasy narrative, which they call the truth.
What Meghan never really understood, probably not even now, is that when she was chaired as a working royal, it wasn't because she was Meghan Markle, it was because she represented British royalty and all the values of the Queen and all the tradition and 1,000 years of history. So people were cheering not just the person, but also the institution.
Devastating moment for Prince Harry's reputation and credibility, as he argues with a judge while in the dock, contradicts himself, appears to fib about using the pseudonym Mr. Mischief.
He lost at the trial court level on this push to make the British royal family pay for his security when he goes to the UK.
Once they realise that myself, my wife, and our kids are happier outside of the institution, please just look at the fact, look at the risks, look at the threat, look at the impact that if anything was to happen to me, my wife, or my father's grandchildren, look where the responsibility lies.
What a manipulation. My father's grandchildren. They're gonna and it will be his fault.
It's gaslighting on a grand scale.
It's almost like Harry 2.0 is Brooklyn Beckham. Have you seen any of this action where...
Yes, I'm into it.
I'm so
very
into it because he doesn't talk to his father, fall out with the father.
He holds on to these terrible, unhappy moments with Meghan, who he says, you know, she's absolute misery, but you know, that's not true either. And she wasn't around in the late 1990s. I mean, it's a sort of extraordinary way of behaving.
He wanted half in, half out. He wanted his own cake and eat it. And the royal family said, no, you're either in the royal family or not in the royal family.
April 2025, she said it's the happiest she's ever been. She's having a wonderful time. She can't believe it, and she's happy and grateful. Now, what sort of idiot would say that in court when he talks to the person herself has given something completely different?
The more Meghan must have been convinced of her importance to the monarchy. Do you still think she's that delusional? And maybe the answer is watching her at Kevin Costner's 805 Live event in $300,000 worth of jewelry, including Diana's Cartier watch.
Wherever she is, whether it's at Costner or in Colombia or in Nigeria or wherever, she's always, her publicist will reveal that she's wearing one of Diana's pieces of jewelry.
Royal insiders have been shaking their heads for a while now, and this is why. Tom Bauer's latest revelations aren't just rumors. They're explosive facts. It turns out she's not any kind of talent, he says, and trust me, those words hit harder than a slap across the face. He didn't just pull that out of thin air. Oh no, Bauer spent years investigating Meghan, interviewing over 80 people who worked with her, interacted with her, and dealt with her professionally. This isn't some amateur gossip. Bauer has receipts, darling.
In Meghan's case, it seems to me she's absolutely determined to force feed the narrative. And damn it, they're going to accept it and keep going, and people are just too smart.
According to Bauer, Netflix executives knew they had made a massive mistake within the first 6 months of signing that ridiculous $100 million deal with Harry and Meghan. They realized Meghan couldn't even produce content that people actually wanted to watch. The show, titled with Love Meghan, was supposed to be her big comeback, her chance to prove she could hang with the big names like Martha Stewart or Ina Garten. But it quickly became clear, Meghan sweetheart, you're no Martha Stewart. The fact that her show revolved around her moving pretzels from one bag to another, cringeworthy.
Bad news in Harry and Meghan world, their show has been canceled. Season 3 of With Love Meghan has been canceled by Netflix.
Now here's the thing, Bauer doesn't just bash Meghan for no reason. The issue isn't her lack of talent. The issue is her utter lack of authenticity. And we all know that in 2026, audiences can smell fake from a mile away. It's not just the show. It's the whole image Meghan tried to sell. The lifestyle, the cooking, the warmth, it's all fake. Meghan, who's supposed to be this relatable person, has an image that's nothing but a carefully constructed facade. But as Bauer pointed out, her own father, Thomas Markle, was having his leg amputated during filming, and what did Meghan do? Nothing. Not even a phone call. How can she pretend to value family when she's abandoned her own flesh and blood? That hypocrisy is dripping off of her every move.
Harry, his heart seems to have softened, or there's been some sort of evolution. So I do think you're right that a lot of us were kind of caught off guard by the Prince Andrew decision, because we had grown accustomed to cuddly Charles, Grandpa Charles, with the grandkids in his lap. And when I saw the news, I thought, I don't know if I'll ever see anything like this again in my lifetime, but maybe I will because of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
And don't even get me started on her authenticity. Meghan thought she could waltz into Hollywood and dominate the cooking world, but it turns out you can't sell a fake personality. It's like trying to sell water in a desert. Nobody's buying it. Netflix executives gave her top-tier producers a massive budget and creative control, and what did they get? Pretzels in bags, a rented mansion, fake beehives. Even her so-called celebrity friends, they were more interested in their own lives than showing up for her show. It was all a big, manufactured lie.
And even the publishers couldn't quite believe some of the things which I discovered. And one of the big things at that time was sensitivity reading. There was a great fear that she would play the race card.
It's no surprise the show tanked with Love. Meghan ranked 217th on Netflix in the second half of 2025. 217th. That's not even the worst part. The show only racked up 2 million views in 4 months. For context, some YouTube channels that are barely known get more views than that in a single month. That's embarrassing, especially for someone who had the world's attention when she married Prince Harry. A cooking show with no real content? A disaster.
An interview to offer them a platform to tell their story about why they left. And that was my number one intention, was just clarity on why did you leave? And so some of the things that were revealed in that interview came as a surprise to me. And those surprises are now referred to as bombs.
It's almost too much to believe, but here's the kicker. Bauer says Meghan is absolutely livid that Netflix canceled her show. She genuinely thought it was going to win awards, that it was going to catapult her to stardom, but instead, the audience found it so boring, so fake, that it was Doa. No one cared. And let me just remind you, this is the same Meghan Markle who thought she could take the world by storm with her authenticity. If only the audience hadn't caught on to the fact that everything about her life is a performance. But while Meghan was dealing with the fallout of her Netflix failure, guess where Harry was? In London, making an absolute fool of himself in court. This whole circus isn't just about the Netflix show, it's about the complete and utter mess that Meghan and Harry have made of their so-called new life away from the royal family. While Harry was shedding tears in a London courtroom, Meghan was thousands of miles away in California, posting selfies by the pool. The hypocrisy is astounding. As the drama unfolds, the spotlight is now on Harry, who couldn't keep his emotions in check during his court appearance. While Meghan was in the comfort of her Californian mansion, sipping iced tea, posting on Instagram, Harry was in a London courtroom bawling his eyes out. Yes, you read that right. The prince, who claims to want privacy, was sobbing in front of a judge. But here's the kicker, this court case was about events that happened before Meghan even entered the picture. So why bring her up? Why cry about her? Why make it all about her when it wasn't even her battle? But don't think Harry is some innocent soul just standing up for his wife. Oh no! According to Tom Bauer, Harry has become so controlled by Meghan that even in a courtroom where he's supposed to focus on his own case, he can't stop bringing her up. His words, his emotions, everything he does seems to revolve around his wife. Is it love? Or is it something far more sinister? Because, according to Bauer, Harry is vengeful, bitter, and incredibly angry, and all that rage is being poured into his court case. In fact, Harry's courtroom meltdown is just the tip of the iceberg. His behavior was so off the rails that the judge had to intervene 3 times. Yes, you heard me right, 3 times. A seasoned judge, known for handling high-profile media cases, had to repeatedly remind Prince Harry to answer the questions and stop arguing with the opposing lawyer. Imagine that, a judge having to school a prince on courtroom etiquette. That's how out of control Harry's emotions have become. It's almost as if he thrives on the drama, on the attention, on being the victim. But wait, Harry didn't just stop at arguing with the judge. Oh no! In the middle of his testimony, as the cameras rolled and the pressure built, Harry's voice cracked. He started crying. Yes, crying. He sobbed about how the press had ruined Meghan's life. He claimed, "They have made my wife's life an absolute misery." But here's where it gets interesting. This case is about phone hacking. It's about stuff that happened before Meghan was even in the picture. So why is Harry making it all about her? It's like he can't function without tying everything back to her, like he's so deeply entrenched in her narrative that he can't even separate his own grievances from hers. It's odd, to say the least. Now, the real question is, where was Meghan while all of this was happening? Was she at Harry's side, supporting him during his emotional breakdown? Nope. She was in California, not even bothering to fly to London to be with him. Instead, she was posting pictures of herself lounging by the pool. Yes, you read that correctly. Meghan Markle, the supposed devoted wife, couldn't even be bothered to stand by her husband in the middle of his most high-profile public court case. It's almost as if Meghan has completely detached herself from the drama that her husband is embroiled in. Tom Bower has called this out before. Meghan, according to Bower, uses Harry as her puppet, manipulating him to play the victim card whenever it suits her narrative. But when the tables turn and Harry needs support, where is she? Mia. Just like her cooking show, completely fake, manufactured, and completely about her image. It's a pattern that seems to follow her everywhere she goes. While Harry is crying in a courtroom, Meghan is basking in the spotlight of social media. She wants the world to see her as this perfect, glamorous figure who's the victim of a press that's out to get her. But here's the truth, people, they can't have it both ways. They can't cry about wanting privacy while simultaneously selling their stories to Netflix, Oprah, and anyone else who will listen. Tom Bower has pointed out the hypocrisy time and time again. You can't complain about the press invading your life when you've made your life an open book for everyone to see. The public's reaction to all of this has been nothing short of savage. People are fed up. They're no longer buying what Harry and Meghan are selling. The sympathy they once enjoyed has quickly turned to indifference. And that, my friends, is the real killer. When the public stops caring, when the world stops paying attention, that's when you know you've lost. And that's exactly what's happening with Harry and Meghan. And let's not forget the cherry on top of this royal disaster. Their Netflix show, With Love, Meghan, got canceled. Fans are celebrating. And let's be real, Netflix is probably relieved that they won't have to throw any more money at this failing franchise. One commenter even said, "She's made our lives a misery with her behavior and hypocrisy." Another one chimed in with, "Finally, Netflix found its spine." And that's the cold, hard truth. Meghan's cooking show was doa because people saw through her act. They saw the fakeness, and they didn't want any part of it. Tom Bower warned us that this would happen. He predicted that the public would tire of their victim complex. He said that Americans would eventually reject them once they realized they had nothing to offer except complaints and demands. And guess what? He was right. The Netflix cancellation proves it. The public is over it. Harry's court case proves it. Nobody is interested anymore. Here's what's next. Meghan's desperation is starting to show. According to Bauer, Meghan is scrambling for any form of attention she can get. She's back with Sunshine Sachs, her old PR firm, trying to rebrand herself. She's attempting to befriend Jennifer Aniston through Aniston's boyfriend. And the latest joke, those fell asleep here bookmarks she launched. It's embarrassing. And it shows just how far Meghan has fallen. She's trying to stay relevant, but nothing is working. And Tom Bower predicts that Netflix will completely drop them within the next year. Money? Yeah, it's running out fast. Meghan and Harry reportedly spent $38 million on their failed projects, and their mortgage is sky high. Their lifestyle is unsustainable, and with no real income coming in, they're running out of options. Bower believes that this could end badly for them, very badly. And if you think it's over for them, think again. This train wreck has only just begun. Meghan and Harry are about to face the music. And trust me, it's going to be louder than ever.